So you think you need to talk to try and fix everything, right? Always being there, chasing after her, trying to patch up what's falling apart while she treats you with disdain. Let's be real, it's not working. And do you know why? Because you're playing her game. But guess what? It's time to change the rules. Do you know what really messes with a woman's mind? Silence. That's right. The kind of silence that leaves her wondering what's happening, makes her question what you're thinking, why you disappeared. It's the kind of silence that shifts the dynamic and puts you in control. Today, I'm going to show you how silence can turn the tables in your favor, completely changing the way she sees you. If you have even a shred of self-respect and want to learn how to turn the tables once and for all, stick around. I'm going to show you how to make a woman respect you and chase after you. And no, it has nothing to do with flowers, gifts, or any other nonsense you've been told. Get ready, because what you're about to hear is exactly what you need. Let's get started. Number 1, the uncertainty that erodes and disarms. Let's face reality. Curiosity is a driving force in the female universe. Women have this almost supernatural ability to want to know everything, to pick up on even the smallest details that many of us would overlook. And when you, who were always there, available and predictable, decide to change the game and adopt silence, uncertainty begins to corrode like rust on exposed metal. If she had you in the palm of her hand before, now the story changes. Curiosity is no longer just a whim, but an almost obsessive need to understand what happened. Why did you disappear? What are you doing? And worst of all, who are you with? These thoughts start invading her mind to the point where she can't think of anything else. It doesn't even have to be a great love. Even that lukewarm interest gains intensity when mystery enters the scene. The first reaction, she'll start probing. Those random, "Hey, how are you?" texts, the social media likes, the messages that seem disinterested but are loaded with intention. She wants to know what's going on. She'll drop a few hints here and there, maybe even ask mutual friends, all to try to get a clue about what you're up to. And of course, any sign that another woman might be in the picture will be enough to sound the alarm. But the game doesn't stop there. If you don't give in, if you stay firm in your position, be prepared for the victim role she'll adopt. Suddenly, you're the insensitive one, the cold guy who's playing with her feelings. But let's be honest, this tactic is a desperate attempt to regain control. She'll try to make you feel guilty, insinuating that you're the problem, while avoiding facing the fact that it was her actions that led you to pull away. Now, while she's lost in a sea of uncertainties, wondering what the hell happened, you're calm, knowing that silence is your best weapon. This uncertainty will consume her, taking away her peace because her mind can't handle the unknown. She'll start rethinking every action, every word she said, and suddenly, the game she thought she was dominating turns against her. And it's at this point that she starts chasing after you, desperate to regain the control she never actually had. The silence you adopted stopped being just the absence of words. It became a powerful presence that dominates her thoughts and puts her in a state of vulnerability she wasn't prepared to face. Now, she's trapped in a cycle of insecurity and doubt while you go on with your life, watching the transformation that this simple but powerful tactic can provoke. Number 2, the collapse of the illusion of control. Let's get straight to the point. No beating around the bush. When you, my friend, decide to go silent and step away, the impact on her mind is devastating. Why? Because up until now, she thought she had you in the palm of her hand, controlling your every move like a puppet. She felt like the queen of the game, using her influence to keep you around, even if it was just to inflate her ego. You were there, enduring all sorts of humiliation and disdain, just to hold on to the little attention she gave you. And as sad as it is to admit, you allowed her to mold your life according to her whims. But when you decide you've had enough and choose silence, something changes drastically. Suddenly she realizes that the power she thought she had over you has dissolved. She's no longer the one calling the shots, and that loss of control hits her like a punch to the gut. This is where things get interesting. She panics, not because she loves you or truly cares, but because she realizes she can't manipulate you like before. In this desperation, she'll try everything to regain the lost control. She'll text you, try to reconnect, play emotional games that used to work so well. And if you give in, if you show any sign that you're still hooked on her, she'll go back to her old ways. She'll treat you with the same disdain, use you as a doormat, because, in her mind, you've just handed the control key back to her. This is where you need to show who's really in charge. Maintaining your composure, silence, and above all, emotional control is the key to turning the tables. When she realizes that you're not fazed, that her manipulation attempts no longer work, the dynamic changes. The power is now in your hands. She may cry, apologize, beg for your attention, but this will only happen if you know how to stay firm. This is the essence of being a man with emotional control. You're no longer a toy in her hands. You become the point of stability, the safe harbor that she can't shake. And believe me, nothing is more attractive to a woman than a man who stays strong in the face of the emotional storm she tries to provoke. This is how you turn the tables, making her bend, regret, and maybe even humiliate herself to get back what she knows she never should have lost: your respect. Number 3, the fatal blow to her ego. Let's be real here. When a woman gets used to playing with your feelings, knowing you'll always chase after her, her ego inflates to ridiculous levels. She feels like she's in control, ruling everything with a snap of her fingers, while you, my friend, are there, running like an obedient puppy. She believes she has you in her pocket, always ready to cater to her whims, no matter how much she snubs or mistreats you. But then, out of the blue, you do something she never expected. You disappear. You stop responding, stop chasing, stop giving that attention she thought was guaranteed. And at that moment, her house of cards comes crashing down. Her inflated ego takes a direct hit, and suddenly she's no longer the queen in control. Now she's just another ordinary person without the power she thought she had over you. The discomfort and emotional imbalance that follow this blow are overwhelming for her. And of course, she'll try everything to regain control. She'll resort to jealousy games, try to provoke you, or play the victim, anything that might pull you back into her comfort zone, where she's in charge. This is where your strength, patience, and most importantly, wisdom come into play. You can't give in. You can't go back to being the guy who chases after her at every bat of an eye. Before you think about resuming any contact, you need to observe, see what she's really trying to do. Is her change genuine? Or is it just another game to get you back under her control? The key here is not to rush. Be patient, keep your dignity intact, and watch. If it's all just a game to inflate her ego again, then it's simple. You stay distant and firm. Now, if you notice that she truly got the message, that her change is real, then you decide what to do, but always with you in control. After all, you're no longer in the game to be her toy. You're there to be respected. If you want to learn how to use psychological tricks to get into this woman's mind and make her act the way you expect, seeking you out and thinking only of you, read the digital book that's in this video's description. After reading, you'll learn to use your cold side to deeply affect this woman and master the art of seduction. Stop being a doormat and start being the man she truly values. If you want to learn how to use psychological tricks to get into that woman's mind and make her act the way you expect, seeking you out and thinking only of you, read the ebook in the description of this video. After this read, you'll learn how to use your cold side to deeply affect this woman and master the art of seduction. Stop being a doormat and start being the man she truly values. Number 4, the rediscovery of your value. So, you've decided that you're not going to be the guy who's always available, always trying to fix what she breaks with her games and lack of consideration. Finally, you realize that you need to stop being the rug she walks on. And what do? You step back, adopt silence, give her the bitter taste of losing sight of you, and that's when the magic happens. When you disappear from the radar, she starts to realize something she had completely ignored before: the true value you have. Before, she was used to your constant presence, thinking you'd always be there, no matter what she did or said. And with that, her respect for you went down the drain. But when you take a step back, refusing to be her emotional toy, she begins to feel the weight of your absence. This silence is not just a simple physical absence. It's an absence that makes her reflect on her own actions. She starts to wonder why you're no longer around, why you stopped trying to please her at all costs. And more importantly, she begins to question what exactly she did to push you away.
What once seemed guaranteed now becomes uncertain for her. And it's in this uncertainty that she starts to value what she lost. The man she took for granted now shows himself to be someone who doesn't accept being treated with disdain. You stop being that accessible and predictable guy and transform into someone who demands respect and consideration.
This redefinition of your value makes her realize that the time and attention you gave weren't her automatic rights, but something you offered because you wanted to, because you valued the relationship, and that when there's no reciprocity, you know very well where the exit door is. Now, the game has changed, and if she wants your attention back, she'll have to show that she's learned her lesson and is willing to treat you as you deserve. Silence, my friend, can be more deafening than any word. And when you use it wisely, it has the power to completely change the way she perceives you, making her reevaluate, rethink, and maybe even finally value you as she should have from the start. Number 5, when you take control of the game. So it's time to put an end to her games. You're tired of being the little puppy she calls when she feels like it, always ready to try to fix the things she broke with her immature behavior. But now you've decided to do something different. You've adopted silence. And my friend, this move isn't just a simple retreat. It's a brutal shift in the power dynamic. Before, she was used to having control. She knew that no matter how disrespectful she was, you'd be there, insisting, begging for just a little more of her attention. But by going silent and disappearing off the map, you've pulled the rug out from under her. And that's when things start to get interesting. Suddenly, the security she felt, that certainty that you'd always be around, evaporated. Now she's lost, not knowing what to do. The messages you used to respond to in seconds now go unanswered. The invitations you never declined are ignored. And she starts to realize that the control she thought she had was an illusion. And what does she do? She starts to squirm inside. Did she go too far? Did you really move on this time? The silence is deafening and leaves her completely disarmed. And now, my dear friend, it's you who decides the course of things. This transformation in the dynamic not only puts you back in control, but also forces her to rethink her behavior. If she wants back what she lost, she'll have to show that she's learned her lesson, that she's willing to treat you with the respect you deserve. And all of this because you made the decision to stop chasing after her and let her feel the weight of her own choices. By taking this stance, you not only regain control over your emotions, but you also establish a new standard in the relationship. Now it's she who needs to make an effort, and that completely changes the game. There's no more room for cheap manipulation or for the games she used to love playing. If she wants to be by your side, she'll have to adapt to this new reality. The moral of the story? Never underestimate the power of silence. When you decide to go silent and step back, you not only reclaim the respect she lost for you, but you also redefine the entire dynamic of the relationship. And in the end, you come out on top, making it clear that not just anyone will be treated as an emotional toy, If she wants to play, she'll now have to play by your rules. Number 6, make her realize she's losing you. Now let me open your eyes. Absence is a lethal weapon you underestimate. When you stop always being available, like that little puppy chasing after her, she starts to realize the true value of your presence. I'm not just talking about your kind words or your affectionate gestures, but the sense of security and stability you brought into her life. And believe me, when you disappear, she feels it like a punch to the gut. Suddenly, her days become more monotonous. The conversations lose their charm, and that comfort you provided, it evaporated. She starts to wonder where you went and why life seems less interesting without you around. It's at this moment that reality hits her. She realizes that not having you by her side is like losing an important part of her routine, and this absence creates a void she can't fill on her own. And here comes the final blow. She'll start to feel an unbearable longing for you, to the point where she's willing to do anything to get your attention back. But it's not you who's going to chase after her, as if you were desperate. No, sir! Now, the ball is in your court. She'll need to work hard, show that she truly values you, and that she's not willing to lose you again. You've become the prize, and she'll have to sweat to earn a single second of your attention. The reality is harsh. If she wants you back, she'll have to work hard and show that she understands the value you bring to her life. And if she didn't realize it before, you can be sure that now, with the deafening silence of your absence, she'll quickly realize what she lost. And then, my friend, it's up to you to decide if she deserves it or not. Number 7, stop treating her like the queen of your universe. Let's be serious. If you make a woman the sun around which your whole world revolves, you're asking to be disrespected. She'll quickly realize that she has you in the palm of her hand, that every word or action of hers can destabilize you. And guess what? She'll start to see you as a doormat, not as a real man. When you make a woman the central piece of your life, she starts to feel that she's in total control of the relationship. And you? Well, you become predictable, weak, and desperate to please. This isn't just a shot in the foot, it's practically a cannon shot. Because once she realizes she can manipulate you as she pleases, her respect for you evaporates, and with it, any attraction she might have felt. Now, let's turn the tables. Instead of living for her, start prioritizing the things that really matter in your life. Your personal development, your goals, your friendships, and yes, even new interests. This not only makes you grow as a person, but also sends a clear message. You're not available to be anyone's emotional toy. When she notices that the prominent place she occupied in your universe is no longer guaranteed, she'll panic. Suddenly, she realizes she no longer has the power to control you, and that you're not anxiously waiting for the next crumb of attention. This puts her in a position of insecurity. And what will she do? Desperately try to regain the space she lost. And here's the key. It's not just about making her feel displaced, but about completely changing the power dynamic. Now you're the guy who decides how, when, and if she deserves to be in your life. And you can be sure that she'll feel it. The woman who used to play with your feelings will realize that if she wants to be part of your world again, she'll need to play by your rules. The lesson is simple but powerful. Never put anyone above yourself. When you show that you have a full, rich, and interesting life outside the relationship, that you don't depend on her to feel complete, that's when she starts to chase after you. Because deep down, every woman wants to be with a man who is a challenge, who is self-assured, and who knows his worth. Number 8. Stop accepting crumbs and redefine your standards now. Enough of accepting crumbs. Enough of swallowing disrespect. Enough of being the emotional doormat of someone who doesn't value you. If you really want to turn the tables and make this woman respect you, then it's time to redefine your standards, my friend. Yes, you heard right. Redefine. Because as it stands, you're just settling for the bare minimum. And the bare minimum has never been enough for anyone who knows their worth. Look, I'll be direct. If you keep accepting crumbs, you'll end up with a banquet of frustrations. When you finally decide that you're not going to tolerate any kind of disrespect anymore, when you show that you have clear and non-negotiable limits, then yes, things change. She'll have to align with what you want, or, my dear, she'll have to leave your life, and there's nothing wrong with that. You need to understand one thing once and for all. A man who knows what he wants, who isn't afraid to lose someone to uphold his principles, is a man who commands his own destiny. And make no mistake, this isn't arrogance, this is self-respect. And this is exactly what will make her respect you for real, not just lip service. If you keep bowing your head, accepting anything she throws at you, you're signing your own insignificant sentence. But when you stand up, set your standards, and make it clear that you won't accept less than you deserve, that's when the game changes. She'll understand that if she wants to be by your side, she'll have to rise to your level and not the other way around. So, enough of the soft talk, enough of trying to please everyone. If you want respect, if you want to be taken seriously, start with yourself. Define what you want, what you deserve, and don't deviate from it for anyone. If she can't keep up, that's her problem, not yours. But one thing is certain, she'll realize that if she wants to stay, she'll have to rise to your level. And that, my friend, makes all the difference. Now it's up to you. Redefine your standards. Stop accepting crumbs. And take control. Because from today on, you're not going to settle for less than you deserve. And whoever wants to be by your side, let them be up to the challenge. End of story. It's time to stop being an extra in your own life and take on the leading role. Everything we've talked about here isn't just about making a woman respect you or chase after you. It's about completely transforming the way you see yourself and position yourself in the world. If you keep accepting less than you deserve, you'll become an expert at settling for crumbs, and that's simply unacceptable. You deserve much more than to be someone who accommodates, who swallows insults, and who lives trying to please to be accepted. If you want respect, if you want to be truly admired, you need to start respecting yourself first. Set your standards, stand firm in them, and don't let anyone, absolutely anyone, dictate your worth. Life is too short for you to live according to the expectations and whims of others. It's time to be the protagonist, to take the reins, and to make the world adjust to your pace, not the other way around. You have the strength, you have the power, you just need to decide to use them. And remember, those who don't value you don't deserve to be by your side. So, from now on, you won't accept crumbs anymore, you won't bow your head, and you won't ask for permission to be who you are. If she wants to be by your side, she better be prepared to keep up with your level because you're not lowering yourself for anyone. End of story, my friend. Now it's up to you. Get out of this video and apply what you've learned. Show the world what you're made of and never look back.